6-second run, like a 650 pass in that, or one that maybe like a burnout that's like 3/4 of the racetrack, back it up and run a great time, you know, that kind of thing.
Like being shot out of a cannon. Those cars leave your starting line in about, but I'd say 4 Gs. It seems to be on my computer. They hold about 2 Gs all the way down. It's very exciting route. Familiar Pro Stock is a Pro Stock on steroids. They got a bigger wing, nitrous oxide, body modifications, allow more aerodynamics, and they're a little lighter. Today's Pro Modified is very competitive, not only in IHRA national competition, but also in circuits like the US Super Circuit here and also in match racing. Right now, it looks like the blowers have a slight edge on the nitrous cars. You just hear them warm up and hear the tremendous power. There's no way I can make my car sound like that. I mean, so obviously they have more power instead of 2 different types of things. They are 2 different things. But at the same time, the mix creates a lot of excitement and controversy amongst the fans.
Cars in California, and so, you know, I have to come back here and run where the fast cars are. I think the spectators like the noise a little bit more and the smoke, and yeah, I've been running a blower car for about 6 years. I was a little nervous when I first came back here, but let me tell you, these are a great bunch of guys to race with, and I get a lot of help from them, and we have a great time. I would like to see them stay with the old nostalgia type look, but you know, the cars are going so fast, we'll have to change the flat seat car. Wildest motor you can build and put it in and try to go 206 seconds. When we looked at the rules, we could see we could do this either way. And being that we run blown Doorslammers since the 1960s, we just decided to do it with a blower and get a good crew and a great driver. And maybe we work harder than the rest. I don't know, but it's a real tough job. I compared pretty similar to running a top fuel car as far as we work. The big statement when we started was run what you brung and you better bring it up. So when the guys were just reaching for the 6s in the second meet, we showed up around 669. It really brought about a big group of rule changes, and maybe it's something that it needed, but we've dealt with it over the years, and we seem to be right back running good as the rest of them. it's a pretty even deal. The fields are really, really tough. A 16-car show now at a major event. The group of cars will be 1800s for 16 cars. It's very comparable now to your NHRA Pro Stock as far as qualifying positions are changed by the hundreds. Every time we come back from this car in the shop, it has to be completely field strip. All the pistons out of it, the clutch out of it, the rear end out of it. You have to look at every single rotating part in the car, because if you have something go wrong, it'll kill everything else you own.
I'm Norm Wisner, owner and driver of the 1957 Ford Mega Ford. This is one of the outlaw nitrous cars that we race all around a United Circuit around the country. These cars are usual body cars that you might have seen sometime or another. Old Chevrolets, old Fords, old Plymouths, and some of the newer model Trans Ams, Firebirds, and even a couple of the new Thunderbirds and Probes. These cars are extremely fast. This engine is a replica of an original Ford 460 motor. Now what we've done is we've taken the original cast iron block and changed it into an aluminum block. In this case, it's 638 cubic inches, so you can see that we've borne it out and stroked it a whole lot bigger than what the original 460 motors were.
The first thing we do every time with a nitrous car, first thing you want to do is look at the spark plug, see if you burnt tip plug. If you did, then you start checking. And we had to check the valve springs every run because with high RPMs, it's for no certain pattern, you just break a valve spring once in a while. So all that has to be checked. And then we'll try to read the plugs and check the air to tune it for the next round. I've got a different combination this year that I've been running. I've gone to mechanical pump, and I hadn't quite got the handle on it yet, but we're getting close.
guys that run the nitrous are dead set against the blowers. The guys that run the blowers feel that it's a better way. You know, and I think what you got to do is you have to look at it where you almost really have to have two separate classes, right? The blowers and then the nitrous cars. I mean, Coleman was trying to do that last year. Trying to run both of them. But it's, you know, nitrous cars against the blower cars. You got the nitrous guys trying to go as fast as the blower cars. So the blower cars, it's costing the nitrous guys more money to compete.
The frame is made out of 4130 chrome moly tubing. The McPherson strut is simply used very similar on the cars that we have today. The cars themselves have a lot of lightweight fiberglass and aluminum. As you can see, the doors come off the cars made out of very lightweight aluminum and fiberglass. This door is so easy to take on or off, and it is made that way so that we can work between rounds, replacing parts that we need to inside the car. With my assistant here, Jerry, who's my crew chief, we can put this door on the car in a matter of a few seconds. probably most of you know, is what we commonly call laughing gas. Now, we use it a little bit differently than what the doctors and dentists use it for. We use it as a fuel enrichment enhancer. The nitrous system on this car utilizes two different systems. It's got an injection system that directs it directly into the nozzles of the car, or it's got a system that goes inside the manifold. Now, the nitrous oxide that we use is injected as a liquid. What that does, it expands and changes into a gaseous form. What we can do here then is we can burn more fuel. Nitrous oxide does not burn, but it does burn more fuel. So aesthetically, what we can do is put a lot more power in the motor by simply putting more gas and more nitrous into the motor.
Well, everybody thinks the carburetors are the way to go, like the old style of tuning, but there's a way for blowers too, because on a bad air day and that, they make their own air and stuff, and they're the ones that can fly. That's what I think. What they think the unfairness is, because you like weigh one against the other, so to speak, and they feel the blowers have got the advantage in it, because they can make their air as to where the guys from carburetors can't make the air, and they got to really tune and tune and tune to try and catch up to those guys.
The nitrous that we do inject in the motor is very, very critical that we do maintain the proper pressures. As you can see, we do have very amount of gauges on the car. We do keep the nitrous pressure exactly where it needs to be, as well as the fuel pressure. In order to keep that, we do have some other things that we must do. These two lines over here are what we call purge lines. What these two lines do is they automatically take any gaseous nitrous oxide that we have before the nitrous solenoid and they exit it outside the car. We're trying to have all liquid nitrous so that we inject it directly into the manifold. As it goes in through the carburetors and in through the manifold, it expands 4 to 1. When it does this, we can mix more gasoline and get more power. As we've already seen, this car can run between 150 to 700 horsepower gain using the two nitrous systems.
Johnny Rocca, and this car behind me is my 33 Willis. It's a kind of an answer to our nostalgic drag racing. We had been on tour for a couple of years with K.S. Pittman's car and with the Stonewoods and Cook car, and when we got done with that, the nostalgia was still there, so we decided to build this car.
Ted Dooley doing the driving. Johnny Rocca's car. Gary Hart.
The only thing I can tell you is that I've been doing it since I was 16, over 30 years, and it's just in the blood. It's to take a machine like this and create this living, breathing machine, and to see that machine live and start and run, it just becomes a personality of itself. It just becomes a part of you, and it just is just like 30-weight motor oil coursing through your veins.
From Millers, Maryland. This is my 1957 Pro Street Corvette. At a 792, 170 miles an hour, this makes this car the world's fastest street legal car. This car is kind of neat because when we say street legal, we mean street legal. We ran that time in street trim through the mufflers. It has a 600 cubic inch Charlie Garrett motor, and it's one carburetor, and does have a power glide transmission, which is kind of unusual for a car like this. So we want to stay with the power glide because it's more streetable than like a Lenco. It's not going to be as quick as a Lenco transmission, but we feel like we make up for it in other areas. It has a 9-inch Ford rear end, pretty standard, and it's a real streetable deal. It's fast and really streetable. It doesn't overheat. We've got a big radiator in the car and several sponsors, and they help us out somewhat.